Andy Cook, Brent Rooker, Buster Kelso, Darren Schoenrock, Ed Easley, Jeff Hopkins, Carrick Jackson, Lane Burrows, Ozzie Timmons, Phil Clark, Tony Vitello.
Welcome to the Mid-South Baseball Report. I'm your host, Johnny Ray. It may still be wintertime, but spring is in the air as Southwest Tennessee Community College gets ready to crank off their baseball season this weekend in Pensacola. Today I'm joined by six-year head coach Erik Schoenrock as his Salukis are preparing to hit the road. Erik, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Man, it's on you quick, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know who invented playing baseball in January, but y'all worked hard and I know y'all are ready to go.
Yeah, it happens quick. You know, our first practice was January 10th, and you know, you look on the schedule, you got 18 days till you play a game. So hopefully your guys are coming back from Christmas break, take care of their business while they're at home. But we've looked good so far, and we're starting to get going here in a couple days.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't just start, January 10th. It goes back to your fall and what you go through. And I know you guys, went through a pretty rigorous fall program, played a lot of tough outside competition and helped you prepare for this. And I want you to kind of talk about your fall and what you accomplished in the fall and that led you into a promising off season.
Yeah, I mean, we played a very tough fall schedule, like you said, traveled around to a lot of different cool places. And the fall for us is we're trying to get our system implemented as far as our defensive communication and how we're going to play offense and just kind of figure out what our roster looks like. But the main focus of the fall is for our guys to get seen by four-year schools for recruiting purposes. Wins and losses are kind of irrelevant in the fall. It's nice to win games, obviously, but I mean, at the same time, we're just trying to figure out who's going to be in what roles for us, and just try to get our guys seen as much as possible. So we played a lot of big events this fall, played against some nationally ranked teams, and had some success against some teams that we've never really had a chance to compete with. And so it was good to see and give our guys some confidence leading into the spring. We're playing a lot of the same teams this spring that we played in the fall. So get a little bit of a scouting report on those teams as well. But our guys know that they can compete with those teams now that we've played them and had success against them.
Yeah, I see you're pretty much on a daily basis out here, and I really feel like y'all are continuing to make strides as a program. And last season you got off to a really strong start prior to conference play, beat some really talented teams early, and then you just didn't sustain that success as your conference schedule got here. But a lot of those guys that were with you last year as freshmen now are sophomores, and they've been through it. You're very sophomore heavy. I know you're counting on a lot of these guys, and you just mentioned that the purpose of going out to these fall campuses and playing is get these guys scouted and seen. Talk a little bit, not necessarily about the players, but more about the process of kind of how that goes into your plans.
Yeah, I mean, we put our fall schedule together, the previous May, I guess. So we got all summer to make plans for the trips, and then once we're there, allows for our guys to kind of see what they're up against and play in front of 40 or 50 Division I coaches, Division II coaches at some of these sites, and just trying to get our guys used to that, especially our freshmen, get those guys used to some of the game speed that happens at this level compared to what they're doing in high school, and trying to get our guys used to playing with each other too, build some chemistry leading into the spring. And everything we do in the fall is designed for development purposes and for recruiting purposes. And so I think we have a really good plan put in place. We don't carry a huge roster in the fall like some other schools do. So pretty much everyone on our team gets equal reps in the fall, whether you're a freshman or sophomore. And we think that's going to translate to the spring for us. And like last year, like you said, got off to a good start in the spring with all the guys we had playing for us. They were all pretty much freshmen. And I think by the middle of the season, those guys were a little physically and mentally fatigued. That's the first time they kind of been through a process like that before, a grind like that. And those guys all came back a little bit physically stronger, a little bit more mentally strong from going to play summer ball, getting another good fall under their belt, and I think it'll translate into the spring for us this year.
Yeah, I've lived by the saying for many years. You can't win the Derby with a bunch of donkeys.
That's right.
And so I want to start by talking about your workhorse on the mound, Colton Brumley, first team all conference. Pitcher last year, his record setter with 97 Ks, school record 97 Ks and 94 innings, 9 complete games. So you give him the ball, he's going out to take care of business. Talk about Colton and his leadership. I know he's a team captain, but talk about his leadership and what he means to your pitching staff.
He means everything. You know, he kind of sets the tone for the rest of our staff, and he's the oldest guy on our team. Most experienced pitcher we have on our team. A lot of our guys look to him to be their leader, and he doesn't lead by a lot of vocal things. He does everything the right way as far as how he goes about practicing his lifts and his throwing programs and his demeanor on the mound, and he kind of leads by example. And you know, his stuff on the mound it's electric. He's always in the strike zone. Multiple pitches from multiple pitching from multiple slots, and what he's added to this year is he's added a little changeup that he didn't throw much last year. Last year was just kind of all fastball breaking ball from the
Be giving the scout report.
It's all good. It's all good. Yeah, he's added that third pitch, and I think it's going to help him have even more success this spring. So we kind of lean on him to be our workhorse, like you said, and really set the tone for our weekends, getting that first game of the weekend normally.
Yeah. Somebody else has kind of jumped off the page at me that I've seen through the fall and early spring is a transfer from Southern University, Markel Dixon, product of St. Louis, the city of St. Louis, but I've been impressed with Markel. Talk about Markel.
Yeah, so I knew he was very talented, and when we were evaluating him in the recruiting process of him, transferring and looking for JUCOs after his time at Southern was over, knew he was very talented. Didn't know how consistent or what kind of pitcher we would get. He was way ahead of where I thought he would be, and he showed it this fall. Had really good outings against Walter State and John A. Logan and some big time schools this fall.
Those good programs.
Yeah, that he really helped us compete with those schools this fall, and I think that he's got a lot of confidence about himself, which is awesome. I think that him pitching right behind Brumley, Markel's very cerebral. He thinks things through very well, and I think that him pitching right after Brumley the next day or the next game, it allows for him to see how Brumley's maybe attacking hitters, and he can utilize that into his own game plan when he gets the ball. But power stuff, fastball, slider, will mix a little split in every now and then. But yeah, he's a guy that's been a pleasant surprise for us for sure.
Yeah, high energy guy too. I've noticed, and excuse me, I wanted to also add that he pitched at Southern University for a former Saluki pitcher and former Saluki pitching coach, Chris Crenshaw.
Yeah, absolutely. So it was kind of there was a couple people behind the scenes that helped kind of get Kel here, and Coach Crenshaw was definitely one of those guys.
Yeah. Here's a semester transfer that just showed up in January from the University of Memphis, Price Watson. How's he going to fit into the mix?
Yeah, Price brings a lot of experience. He's a third-year guy. He's going to factor in and out of our bullpen. He's really tough on lefties. Brings a veteran approach to everything that he does, and he's fit right in, right away for us. And in 18 days of being together as a team this spring, he fits in with the rest of our guys. And he's got a couple of buddies that he played with before he got here. In Sarnball, and then Connor Brinkley played with him in high school. So he has some mutual connections before he got here, but he's fit in right away.
Yeah. So. What other pitchers are you counting on? You can't go the whole season with 3 guys.
Right.
I've noticed you've got some depth at that position. Who's some of those other guys?
Yeah, another guy that's going to start games for us is Wesley Cully. He pitched at Arlington High School here in town. Was at Freed Hardeman last year and transferred here, and missed most of the fall with a little bit of a back issue, but he's back now. He got back at the end of the fall, and he's looked very strong this spring. He's probably our number 3 starter on the mound right now. And then we have 2 guys that we're really going to count on late in games for like closing type opportunities. Dawson Hargrove, who spent time as a closer for us last year and a weekend starter a little bit toward the end of the season, and then Hayden Collins, a freshman from Lexington, Kentucky. He's going to factor in as a dual guy for us. Playing some third, playing some outfield, DHing, but he's going to close for us on the mound. Both those guys are swing and miss, strike throwing type guys that you got to have at the back end of games to close things down.
Yeah, very, very valuable. Let's talk about your position players. A couple transfers. Seems like you got a little pipeline going here with the University of Memphis. I know a coaching change may have led to some of this, but another one of your guys that came here in the fall, voted as a team captain, Tyler Harrington, product of Briarcrest High School.
Yeah, Tyler's been one of our best leaders since he first arrived on campus in August, and known Tyler for a long time. Followed his career in high school and obviously his short time at Memphis. And when he made the decision to leave, I welcomed him with open arms. I knew what kind of player he was, and he's been really good offensively. I knew that would happen, but where I've been pleasantly surprised is how good he's been at third base for us defensively. He kind of anchors our left side of our infield, so he'll hit in our 3-hole, have a lot of RBI situations, and he's one of those guys that not only leads by example, but you always hear his voice, and he's got a bright future ahead of him just for multiple reasons, I think.
Yeah,
so.
Just in his way he carries himself, you can tell he's a confident leader, and I think that the rest of his teammates feed off of that.
Yeah, no doubt. His dad being a coach, he kind of grew up around really good people, and he's a great kid, and I think that just the leadership comes naturally to him.
Yeah. Second position player coming from the University of Memphis also showed up here at Christmas. BJ Banyan from Bartlett.
BJ really fits how we play here. So I recruited BJ out of high school. He was getting better and better during his time at Memphis, and then decided to make the move over here at Christmas break. And he's going to factor in, play some left, play some center for us. Can really run. We like to run as an offense. We've stole over 100 bags the last couple of years as a team, and he fits how we play.
Don't give away your secrets, right?
But yeah, he's been awesome, and he's improved defensively. Out of high school, lacked a little bit of arm strength, but that's one thing he really focused on at Memphis, and he's throwing really well from the outfield, and offensively, he can do a number of things to help us win games, I think.
Yeah. Let's talk about some of the guys that were here in your program last year that's already been through the mix. Your 13 captain, RH Franklin.
Yeah, RH from Houston. Got off to a really slow start last spring for us. Finished the year as probably our hottest hitter, and hitting an 8-9 hole for the most of the year. And by the last month of the season, we couldn't take him out of that 2-hole. He carried the momentum that he had at the end of the spring into this fall. Led our team in home runs this fall. He's gotten a lot stronger, improved defensively in right field. He pitched for us a little bit in the fall, but he's just going to be an outfitter only for us this spring. But I think that really helped his arm strength improve even more. And so we count on RH to get some big swings off. There's going to be some people on base in front of him. We're hoping to get him in some RBI situations as well.
Yeah, one of my favorite guys on your roster, second-year players, played a lot for you in center field last year, CJ Thomas. I think, CJ, if he has a great year, I think that's going to be as he goes, I think your team's going to go.
Yeah,
and the better he is, the better your team.
He's an X factor for sure, and he's a guy that everyone on our team loves. He works his butt off. He's voted, most hardest worker by his teammates after the fall. And if you look at him, he looks like an NFL safety the way his body's built, and his game has really progressed here recently. This spring has been encouraging so far in the preseason inter-squads we played, and really kind of locked down that center field position. And he's always going to play defense and run, and then he's starting to figure that bat out now and put some really good at-bats together. But I think as CJ goes, our team goes. I think we're going to be pretty good offensively, but if he's really good for us, we're going to have a chance to be an exceptional offensive team.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this was a surprise for you last year, but Brady Hollowell had an exceptional year for you last year, especially early. Put up a lot of power numbers, a lot of RBI numbers. Talk about his fall and his progression.
Yeah, Brady. So it's a little bit different for him. He didn't really get a true high school baseball experience. His senior year or junior year was COVID, and then senior year in the senior fall he broke his foot playing football. So he didn't really play varsity baseball before he got here. So he's kind of playing catch up, and so. By the spring, he was caught up and led our team in home runs last spring. Went off and had a great summer in Fulton, Kentucky, in summer ball, and then led our team in RBIs this fall. And with his potential, his power potential, his left-handed bat, his glove at first base, his grades, everything, it's kind of led to the recruiting process being very good to him. He's got 3 or 4 Division I offers at this point, and he'll hit in the 4-hole. He'll right behind probably Harrington early on in the season and kind of be his protection. And then like we said with Harrington and RH and now Brady, put those guys in as many RBI situations as possible.
Yeah. Another local guy that he just always on base, Anthony's Arlingo. Every time I come out and watch a game, he's on the base, whether he's getting hit by a pitch, working a count for a walk, base hit, double. He's a table setter for your team.
He is. Switch hitter. He's improved a lot defensively as well. He played second base a little bit last year. He's moved the outfield full time for us now. In 6 years of being here, he's easily the best two-strike hitter that I've had here. So he finds his way on base even when he gets behind in counts. And led off for us last year. He was getting on base a lot. This year, he's added about 15 pounds and started hitting for a little bit more power this fall. So we're actually going to move him to the 2-hole, and he led our team in doubles this fall. So a little bit more dynamic than he was at last year offensively. He was always on base, but now he's got a little thump to that bat, and hitting that 2-hole for us, it's got to set the table for a lot of things that happen later on in our lineup.
Yeah, your middle infielders, Tui Cope from Nashville, started for you most of the year, or quite a bit of the year last year at second, and everybody else that we've mentioned has been a sophomore, but you've been really impressed with kid right now that's won the job at shortstop, Connor Brinkley. From Marion. Talk about that duo right
Yeah,
there.
so Tui being a sophomore, very talented kid, kind of like Zarlingo, just a little bit undersized last year. He's added some strength this year and really seen some. He let our team hit 390 this fall, so he's gotten better offensively because he's always been able to play defense and run, but since he's gotten more physical, the bat's really picked up. He's going to lead off for us this year, and with Zarlingo hitting right behind him. Connor Brinkley has been one of our biggest surprises offensively. Had a really good, statistical fall, but big switch hitting guy. He's got power potential now that he's kind of grown into some strength. And him and Blake Rowe, who's our starter last year, both those guys will kind of battle it out early in the season. It's going to be that's kind of one of our last remaining big position battles, and those guys really push each other each day. But it's been fun to watch. Those three guys in the middle infield kind of work together and kind of set the tone for our defense, especially.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit on the pitching staff, but in talking with Coach Barry Hyatt and also you got a lot of guys that are pretty much equal, as far as ability, and so that helps push and just make your team that much better. And going back to the sophomore heavy, that whole list of guys that I just ran out, they're sophomores except for Brinkley, and so that means a ton going into your season, not only early but once you get to that conference.
Yeah, pretty much all freshmen playing for us last year. Opening day this year, we could potentially have 8 sophomores in our lineup with sophomore on the mound and 2 sophomores kind of in the back end of our bullpen, and just a lot more experience this year, and I think it's going to pay dividends for us just because those guys know what they're getting themselves into. Last year, they were talented, they were confident, they got off to a good start, and like I said, that some of those guys never played that much baseball before, so you get 35, 40 games into a season, you start seeing some things happen with their mental and physical fatigue, and this year, our guys have they know what they're getting themselves into, and I think one thing that's helped us too is we're a lot physically stronger than we were last year too. We built the weight room here at the stadium this fall, and we've been utilizing that as much as possible, and I think that's made a big difference for some of our guys, and I think that even some of our freshmen are going to be more ready for a grind of a 56-game season because they're more physically ready to go, I think.
Yeah, that's a huge benefit. We talked about your recruiting process. You've done very well close to home. Most all of these guys are local, but I've also seen you go into Kentucky and some of the outlying areas and bring in some very talented guys, and talk about some of the guys that are from outside the area that are going to fit in this year.
Yeah, so Hayden Collins, like we said, is going to be one of our closers from Lexington, Kentucky. Bryce Turner's from Patriot, Indiana. One of our catchers. He's going to play some first base and DH, big power bat. And then Evan Ash, probably our number 1 catcher at this point, is from Toronto, Canada. Can really catch and throw. I told him, I said, I don't really care if you hit 240 this year, as long as you play good defense, get on base, man. That's what we need you to do, handle this pitching staff. And so we've had some success going outside of the West Tennessee / this area. But a bulk of our roster is from West Tennessee. That's where there's good baseball over here, and we're trying to do our due diligence to bring in as many good talented players from this area as possible, and then kind of mix those with our 8 out-of-state players we have on our roster each year.
Yeah, well, that's always the tough part is putting your roster together, and I've told you since day one, I really like the process that you're going through, not only on the field, but, you know, what you're looking for off the field, and, you know, you're just not bringing bodies in. Everybody that you bring in, you've got a plan for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we really care about our guys here, and I think with us carrying a smaller roster, man, it allows us to spend as much time in, you know, one-on-one with each kid, whether it be on the field, off the field, whether it be baseball related, non-baseball related. It allows us to build relationships with all of our guys, and I think our guys appreciate that, and you know, we look forward to continuing to have guys in here that want to be here. That's a big thing for us. So.
Well, in the day and age of transfer portal, not necessarily at the junior college level, but everybody always wants that instant gratification of getting on the field. Of course, junior college is a proponent to get you on the field earlier, but you know, you want kids that are loyal to your program and you know, willing to pay the price and not just looking for the quick fix. The
grass isn't always greener. You know, that's a pretty common saying. But I mean, with us having the smaller roster and it allows for us to have equal reps in the fall. So you're getting a chance to prove yourself and earn the job outright. And you're not competing. If you're a shortstop here, you're not competing with 7 or 8 other shortstops. You got you and another guy that you're battling with, and kind of push each other and kind of build that relationship up as well.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about your schedule. Today is Tuesday. Y'all open up this weekend in Florida. Hopefully your weather will be a little bit warmer. You're going down to play, I think, Pensacola State and
Nunez.
Yeah, Nunez out of Baton Rouge and or out of New Orleans. But anyway, so tell us about what you're looking for in that series, and then going through your pre-conference schedule, and then we'll talk about your conference opponents.
Yeah. So the first weekend, like you said, we're going down to Pensacola. Playing Pensacola twice and Nunez twice, and we got a good taste of Nunez last year. They beat us in their series down there to open the season in New Orleans.
All 3 nail biters.
Yeah, we lost some close ones against them. It'll be some highly spirited games against those guys. And then, you know, we've seen videos on some guys from Pensacola and looked at their previous years of what they've accomplished. It's going to be a really tough matchup for us, but we want to play against those guys early on and see where we're at. And we're playing 4 7-inning games down there, so we're not putting a huge stress on our pitchers early on. You know, 7-inning games are pretty manageable early this season, and just trying to get as much good competition as possible. And then we get back. We're at home for the next 4 weekends with stuff that we're hosting out here, and a lot of quality teams from all across our country coming in. We're playing some nationally ranked teams that we've kind of scheduled with you, and we're excited to play at home for 16 to 18 home games. I think we have straight when we get back. So. Playing a lot of high quality teams, not playing a bunch of cupcakes early in the season, where we're trying to get our guys ready for conference play. And I think that putting our guys in situations where you're playing against high level opponents is going to get us ready for the strenuous competition in our league that we see each year.
Yeah, I made a comment to you the other day that this is the best roster I've seen you have as far as quality and talent, and so you know, you look to make strides this year, but the thing is, all these other junior colleges have done the same thing. They're benefit of a COVID roster, or you know, trickle down roster from some of the Division Ones. So even though you may have gained strides, it kind of, I think everybody's junior college talent level is just raised the bar.
The world we live in right now, with everybody getting years back from the COVID years, and then now the transfer portal, there's more kids than ever taking the junior college route, and you're seeing the talent pool in junior college be elevated drastically over the last 3 or 4 years, and yeah, everybody's good. There's people on every team in the country that can beat you, so you got to be ready to go every day.
Yeah. So I want to finish up talking about your conference. Tennessee Junior College, 10 schools, all of them are very competitive, and there's no off weekends. You know, I'm sure the Dyersburg and the Walters are still the top shelf guys, but you know, you got Chattanooga State, you got Cleveland, Columbia, Ball State with Coach McGuire there that always does a great job, and you know, Jackson right down the road. All these guys are very competitive.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Where does Southwest fit in with that?
You know, I think we're just as competitive. I don't think we have over the last 5 or 6 years, maybe not the same kind of level of success, but as far as the competitive drive and you know, just the competitiveness that we have with each other, we fit right in with everybody. And you know, Columbia, Chat, Walters, and Dyersburg are all in different polls ranked in the top 25 in preseason in the country. So very competitive league. Our schedule is the exact same order as it was last year. We just flip-flop home and away. So we were at home for the first 5 weekends last year. That means we're on the road the first 4 of the 5 weekends. We go to Jackson, go to Motlow, we host Dyersburg, we go to Walters, and go to Columbia to open the season. So we'll find out right away where we're going to be at, and we got ready to go. So that's why I said that the preseason stuff, the first 5 weekends, is huge for us to get our guys ready for that conference schedule that we're about to play. And it's a dogfight every weekend. I don't care what your record is. There's somebody on, there's 2 or 3 guys in every pitching staff that can beat you, and there's 3 or 4 guys in every lineup that can really swing it. So you got to be ready to go every day. You can't take any days off.
Yeah, well, I anticipate watching these sophomores take you to that next level of success. I'm anxious to see you guys once you get back here in February, and I know it's going to be a successful season. Eric, I appreciate you joining us, and best of luck this year.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.